So the process of transferring over to the Punty, or what we call puntying up. Why do we do it? Well, you have to be able to finish the top of the piece. Right now, the top of the piece is on the blowpipe. Blowing the air into it, you have a solid bottom. You're going to need to attach something, in this case a pontile. And pontile, by the way, is just a fancy word for stick. It's Italian, it means stick. So a solid rod usually. We're going to gather some glass and we're going to weld it to the bottom. Now this gets a little bit tricky. You have to have that weld point on the bottom hot enough that it'll secure the piece, but not so hot that it's going to weld so tightly it'll pull the bottom out. It has to be firm enough to hold the piece, but not so firm that it'll break when you tap the glass. All right, so here you can see we're attaching at the bottom, centered. Center is important. What she's done is she's using that tool. Going to put a little drop of water on there just to make sure it's cool enough that it's going to break. A tap. Piece is a little too hot, so she's going to act cool a little bit again. These are some of the things we use when we're making a pontile. We call this the dagwood dimple. Simply just a little bolt that's been sharpened to a point and a little bit of crushed clear glass into a fine powder. So we're going to gather some on a pontile. We're going to bring this out and we're going to take it to the marver. You'll notice this is a step down pontile and we've gathered just past the step. And what we're doing here is we're kind of cooling it and shaping it. You want that pontile to be cool enough that it doesn't all slide off center if you stop rotation. We're going to put a dimple or a hole right in the center. Kind of looks like a donut at this point. We're going to put a little bit of powdered glass on it, or what we call sanding the punty. And you can see we've got a little hole. And what we've done is just spread the surface area of the pontile across the bottom. A little larger. Here Ed's puntying up, a little bigger piece, and he's wiggling the punty. That's going to show that the pontile hasn't frozen solid, so he's got a little time yet. He's got his jack line in. You can see it's a pretty good jack line right there at the end of the pipe. And he's just waiting for it to firm up enough that it'll hold the piece and to make sure the glass is cool enough. So he's checking that. Looks to be pretty good. You can see the glass kind of crackle a little bit. A little tap, comes right off. Notice that the piece was nice and solid on the pontile. Now here's Kirsty. She's gathering a putty. I'm going to bring it out and go through the same process. Nice shape. Now what she's going to do is she's just going to flatten it a little bit and chill that, as opposed to putting the dimple and the sand on it. Everybody has their own little technique. You use that chisel underneath, whatever tool you have there that you're going to use, and you use that to support it so you can find dead center. A little bit easier if you have that support hand up towards the piece. Checking her jack line. And she's going to tap it off here. And it's just a little bit hot. You can see the piece wasn't quite secure, so she's just going to let it cool a second, get it up, and get it into the reheat. It is a bit of a balancing act. It takes a little practice. In the beginning you won't be doing things quite that long, so it won't be quite that difficult. Here we have a, I think we're doing a little goblet top here. Or one of the stem, or the footless goblets. So, small little punty. Check, make sure that we're cool enough. And a little tap. Notice the piece stayed nice and straight on the Punty. That lets us know that we're right about the right temperature. And we can go in and reheat. There you'll see we're pushing forward on the Punty as we're marvering it. That's just pushing the glass back a little bit, shortening that up. Once again, a little dagwood dipple, a little bit of sand. And we're going to go as close to dead center as possible. Make sure it's on center. Let it cool enough so that it's not going to be soft and moving the piece too much. And a little tap. And we'll be transferred over. Once we've transferred over, we can start to reheat and work the top of the piece. What at this point is where the jack line is. We can heat that up now without getting the bottom too hot and work the top of it, open it up into whatever shape we need. Now, we putty up a little different in our shop than in some of the others. We like to do our things ourselves so that the person that's most responsible for the glass does most of the work.